this meeting to order, December 1st, 2014. Roll call, please.
Neil.
Here.
Ralph.
Here.
Bill. Kathy.
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes. I mean, here.
Well, yes, I'm here.
Joe is
And on Joe, I'll take the time now to state Joe has moved on to another job. He is now living out of state. He wishes to thank everybody for his time here on the council, so we will have a vacant seat becoming available. If anyone has or will know of any recommendations or talk to anybody that would like to fill that chair, we do have an open chair that we'll have to look at to try and fill at the next meeting if possible. Want to thank Joe for his time and everything he's done while he's been on council, but an opportunity arose and he moved on, so he has resigned his position. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from last month? If so, I need a motion to accept, please.
I move that we accept the minutes from the November meeting.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the warrants and payroll timesheets, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ralph.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the transfer of the police revenue from the general fund to the police fund, please.
Approve transfer. Second.
Roll call, please.
Neil.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve the police fund monthly operating fund transfer, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ralph.
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve the interest transfer, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Neil.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Committee boards, safety chief.
The police department handled 88 calls for service in November. We took 12 reports, made 4 arrests, issued 5 citations, and also issued 8 warnings. A couple things I got. First off, Scott Hamilton, I don't know if all of you've met him or not, but I think most of you have. He's been an officer for the last, this is his 3rd month, and he's been training with us. His training will be up later on this month, and I would like to move him from the auxiliary position to part-time paid position, so I can basically working more hours to cover the hours that vacated by Sergeant Schroeder and also Clay Hurd when they left us back in the spring. So I'd like the council's approval to move him to that position effective January 1st of 2000.
Do you have a good idea of how many hours a week that would be?
He's probably going to be pushing the 35, 36 hours. We've got several shifts that are open. We managed to do the summer because during the summer months, Natural Springs Resort hires us off duty to work on the weekends down there. So from the time that Detective Atkins got off work at 11 p.m., he handled calls for us while he worked down there from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. at no cost to the village. So we covered a lot of that way during the summer. But now since there's
Need us to.
there's nobody down there, so we're back to having several shifts that are uncovered.
So what is council's wishes on putting Mr. Hamilton on as part-time?
I make a motion that we put Mr. Hamilton on part-time paid position.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Neil.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Yeah, the only other thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of painful for me to even talk about, but we'll run through it, see what we can figure out. As you know, I gave you some figures last month on the sheriff's office and EPD changing their radio systems over to what's called the March radio system, which is being mandated by the state for 2018. However, the sheriff's office, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is doing theirs now. So that led to Preble County Sheriff's Office and EPD jumping on board with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office to order all their equipment now. That way they get a big discount on all their equipment. By them doing that, what that's doing is it's forcing all the villages in the county to also switch to this system, or basically if they put it, we're going to be our own little island. We're not going to be able to communicate any personal data to the sheriff's office because it will not be encrypted, which is what the state is mandating, which means nobody will be able to pick up the social security numbers, date of birth, stuff like that we broadcast over the radio like we do now. We're trying to get away from that. And it will also make this system statewide, and also Richmond, Indiana has it in place now where if they come over here, we can talk to them. If we go over there, we can talk to them. Right now, the state patrol has it in place. We cannot talk to their guys if they're in town or around us. You know, they have to basically call their dispatch center, which has to call our dispatch center, which has to dispatch us. And then we don't know what's going on until we basically get there. So the state's idea is to get everybody on the same page. You know, school shootings is a big thing because you got people responding from every place to that incident, and they want us all to be able to talk together. Plus, they want the privacy factor on there. So, leading to that, for us to just replace the equipment we have, nothing additional, it's just the car radios, the portable, basically the equipment we have, would, if we wait past December 15th, it would cost us $50,578 to replace what we have now. If we make some type of decision tonight, basically I have to have a decision tonight before December 15th is the deadline on it. We can order the equipment that we need to replace ours, and total equipment, total installation, everything that we act before December 15th would be $43,329.98. A catch to that is we would end up paying $13,193 for the installation of everything. The rest of it we can finance through Motorola, which is the radio company, which is another page I gave you there. They break it down 3 years, 5 years, and 7 years. If we finance it all for finance it all for 3 years, we'd be looking at one annual payment of $10,967. We go 5 years, it's $6,799. We go for the 7 years, it's $5,061 a year. And if we decide to do this before the 15th, our first payment is not due until December of 2015. So we got some time there to figure out a budget. We do have some money left over this year from police funds since we were short officers. Our payroll, we have like $24,000 in there now, which I don't see us using much more than half of that. So there is some money there that's, you know.
So basically, it will cover, close to cover the install that we have to
Right,
get.
cover the install and a little bit of, 2016 payments. So basically, I need either an okay or a hold off from council tonight, whether to go ahead and get this order in place to save the $7,248, or we hold off and, we'll purchase it as we can, but it's gonna cost us more money. So kind of what I'm dumping on you all tonight.
So prior discussion, a few weeks, the last meeting or whenever it was, Chief, you was thinking maybe we might get by with not everything that we currently have. Has there been any consideration there at all?
Well, what I did is I went to PNR Communications, which is the one that handles the radio system for the county. And I approached them about, maybe it's just getting a couple portable radios now, and a couple mobile units now, and then, get the rest as we can. The downfalls to that is, of course, we don't get a discount because it'd be after the 15th. And another thing, we kind of ran these figures up, is the extra stuff we have to switch over to this. It's not just the radios and that's it. For our radio here in the office, we have to have a new antenna put up out here. The antenna that's there doesn't work for this frequency, plus the wire. The cars, apparently this radio system has a big box that mounts in the trunk. So they gotta have a platform built into the trunk for this platform to sit on, then the cable has to run up to where we're sitting. So there's a lot of extras in there that, if we decide not to go this route, then I'm gonna have to approach PNR and say, look, I need 2 portables, I need all the, the things to get us up and running. So, that's why the numbers are so high. I was trying to cut that down, but, I cut it down and then they tell me all the extra stuff that we gotta have, and that kind of brought it back up there. So we did cut it down some, but then with all the extras, it put it right back up to where we were. So, I mean, right.
But all that installation is included in that $13,000 figure?
Yes, that's the antenna, that's everything. There should not be any more than that. And there's also an additional fee of $20 a month per radio for every department in the county, but the sheriff's office has agreed to cover that for everybody in the county since they're forcing us to do this. So,
And for how long are they going to cover that fee?
he says indefinitely.
Do we have that in writing?
No, we don't get it like that.
Better get it right.
Well, I agree with you, and I just brought that up at the last chief meeting, which was last week, that, is this the case? And he says he has budgeted to cover everybody's radios, so, that would be something that,
Because I got to be honest with you, I had a discussion with Chris Day a few weeks ago, last month, after our last meeting, and I told him that the sheriff had agreed to pay that amount, and he was a little taken back by this fact that he agreed to do that. So seems to be some discretion from one story to the next. The other part is the sheriff this is mandated by 2018 by the state, so the sheriff is getting a jump on it and things here. He's kind of pushing the envelope up a little bit, just so everybody knows. I tried to make contact with Chris Day today before the meeting tonight to get a little better clarification. I was unable to contact him because he's the one that seems to be spearheading it for the commissioner's side of it. So,
Do you think that he's pushing just so he can get on board with Montgomery County, because that's when they want to go?
that's the pushing is for the savings. That's the savings is where the push is coming from. There has been, my discussion with Chris Day was, the sheriff is telling us that he's not going to mandate the old system. If it breaks, it breaks.
So it won't be
Conversation with Chris was, unless I misunderstood when I talked to him last time, that the sheriff is going to have to maintain that to a certain degree, but it's still going to be an issue at some point in time in 2018. I'm just laying all the facts on the table here, and I'm not influencing what to do here. I'm just stating what I know.
right, we're eventually going to have to go to it. Whether we do it right now is the question.
Well, it's unlikely to me that it's going to get cheaper 3 years from now, is my biggest,
But that's a lot of
it's
money.
a lot of money, I agree.
Exactly.
Thoughts?
Seems to me for that kind of money, you're shoving it down the throat. And it is a safety factor. I would think that they want to pick up the cost of this, especially for our smaller departments that can't afford it. That's a lot of money coming out for a smaller department.
Commissioners just approved $242,000 for the sheriff's office to upgrade their past Monday meeting.
Yeah.
But it's an expense for everybody. I agree, much rather somebody else pay the bill, but
When push comes to shove, the reality of it is eventually we're going to be hosed if we don't do it.
right. This is the point where we get the $7,000 worth of savings.
Especially since we just bought radios, 2 years ago?
Right, 2 years ago.
Because they changed the frequency, and that was supposed to upgrade everybody, and everybody was supposed to be hunky-dory here after that,
It's This one's supposed to be guaranteed through 2027.
Is there anything that can be done with those radios that we purchased 2 years ago? I don't gain them around here, but
We could probably sell them, you know, I don't know what we could get out of them offhand. You know, I mean, even something like eBay or something like that, where it's a distance from here, we could probably get rid of them that way. You know,
everybody around here will be going to
Right,
this system,
going
I
to
realize
system,
that.
so. Or maybe the fire departments or something like that, they might be interested in, because they're maintaining their system.
Themselves.
Yeah, they're on a total frequent, they're a total different channel than us, and, you know, they don't run the privacy stuff that we do, so their system is being maintained.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on the matter? Ralph?
I feel like we're being forced into doing something. Is where I'm, but to say that, another point I have, do we have the money? Is it there?
Well, we're just going to have to, you know, we're being forced to budget the money, that's the problem. And quite frankly, that's the problem. It's being forced from the state level. My question to the chief was, and I haven't got, chief has told me what he knows, but I haven't had a direct conversation with the higher ups that knows. You know, if the state's is forcing it down our throat, why is the state not helping with this and how they're the ones that enacted it?
Exactly.
So the
And
chief,
they're not giving us enough
the
time.
chief has informed us that we have, Motorola has applied for grant money to the state, Motorola representing Preble, Montgomery, and who knows how many other counties that's involved in this. Number one, nobody knows how much money could possibly be gained, and number two, they don't know whether it's going to be, if there is such money, is it going to go just to the county level? Is it going to come to our level? There's no answers out there that I've been able to arrive at yet. So now, David Wester did tell me that not all counties in the state of Ohio is going to the MARC system. So, seems to be some clouded issues there as to the whole state's doing this, or maybe the other counties are doing something similar. I don't know. I just don't have the answers. I'm just telling you what has been told to me. Now, I will tell you, this, what date is the date, Chief? The 15th?
December 15th.
15th.
In order to get in.
Right.
Save us $7,000.
Yeah. I will tell you, if you're not willing to make a decision tonight, I'm just going to put this on the table. This afternoon, we were contacted by Morgana, is that her name? From the insurance company. She's on her way down here from Columbus. There has been changes in the insurance. So I am going to tell you that we are looking at a special meeting after she gets here. So what I'm saying is, if you don't want to make a decision tonight, we're going to have a special meeting between now and the 15th anyway, because she's going to throw a monkey wrench on what we have here, which is going to take a little bit of time for everyone to discuss it.
Can we do both?
I'm just throwing that on the table, what's coming.
Yes, it can.
If we list it on the agenda, we can do that.
Yes.
I'm just, and not to put the chief off, I'm just telling you that we're probably looking at a special meeting here coming up, simply because what she's going to throw at us tonight. If you want time to think on it, maybe I can, in that period of time, we can get a response back from Chris Day with a little better clarification. I'm not doubting anything. I'm sure the chief is telling us everything that he knows. But somebody up the ladder somewhere has got to know more about these grants and stuff as to what the pile of money is, who may qualify. You know, nobody seems to have an answer for us.
And that's what I'd like to know.
And quite frankly, I do feel like they're, you know, the sheriff, you know, they've been talking about this for a while, and in the last month and a half now, well, you got to make a decision by December 15th, if you want to save the $7,000. That's as much information as I have, so it's what council would choose to do with the information.
I think we ought to be put on the agenda for the special meeting along with insurance, and maybe we can get some
Better
more
answers.
information.
more info between now and then. Pick a day, Rick. 11
15th is
is on Monday.
on the money. So, you know, I think at this point, I don't think we can pick a day until after we hear what Organic has to say to us tonight. So I think we're, you know, for another hour, I don't know that we can pick a day, but I feel quite confident that we're going to have more to discuss. Sure on that day. To where we're probably, most likely, I cannot see us not having a special meeting to arrive at the answers for both situations.
There you go.
So it would be my advice to council to hold off on a vote on the radios until we have the special meeting and possibly have more information.
I just want to make sure he has enough time to respond to it.
As long as it's by the 15th,
I
correct,
would
Chief?
like to see it by the 10th, because we got a lot of paperwork to do to get more roll by the 15th. So give me as much time as you can, that's all I'm asking.
That's why I was saying the
In our
11th.
communications told me today they'd like to have it by the
Thursday's a
10th.
bad
I
day.
think the figures on one of these sheets, I see that he can't guarantee through the 10th. So if you could make it before the 10th, that would make me happy, but do what you gotta do. Yeah, the above lease rates and factors are valid for all leases commenced by 12/10 of 2014.
Well, then where does the 15th come in? If he said the 10th and this says the 15th, where's that?
He has to have his paperwork the 10th to send the Motorola by the 15th.
So technically, then the deadline's the 10th instead of the 15th for us to make that decision.
Yes, correct. I mean, you know, I gotta have everything to Motorola by the 15th, and I just need a little time to do it.
I'm waiting for council to speak what they want to do.
2 meetings?
Well, it's either make a motion to accept what's been put before you, or we wait for a special meeting to make the decision. That's the question.
I would rather wait for a special meeting as long as we can get it in by the 10th, seeing how we've always lost a 5-day span already, you know.
So do I want to hear more answers.
At least knock on a couple of doors and see what we find out.
Then we will,
Yep.
Do I need to make a motion to that?
we need to make a motion to
Yes.
delay vote on
I make
this.
a motion that we delay the meeting,
Vote on that for the time being.
To
We
vote on
table
the
it, we
radio.
table it, that we table it till
table
the
it,
next
and
meeting.
then try to come up with a vote before the 10th to give to Chris, and so he can move forward on that one way or the other.
That's your motion?
Yes.
That we table
That
it
makes
until
sense.
Table it.
We table it until after the special meeting, and we're going to have the,
I'll second that.
roll call, please.
Neil,
Yes.
Ralph,
yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Mary Jane,
Yes.
and Kathy.
Yes.
That way you'll still have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
We'll make it done. We'll get it done. We'll wait and see what Morgan has to throw at us here a little bit, so. Building,
As you can see, they've got the doors up on the school floor now. I don't know if Billy's taken off down the sliding doors yet. He was supposed to have, but that's been done and taken care of. So now we just got to make up our minds where we want to do. We want to put on the siding on it. You know, we're not in a big hurry about that, but you want to wait till spring, you want to do it now or whatever, that's up to you.
Doors are down, they were red doors, they
Okay.
can't stay, took them down.
Okay, good, good.
I think the decision last month was to wait a while in the middle for the decision, wasn't it?
You know, we're not in a hurry, well, we just want to
Get the doors up, and I think we've got
Right, get it
plenty of
cleaned
time
out.
just to make inform everybody it is proceeding in
Right.
the proper direction.
Right, so we're done there.
Streets,
No, I don't have anything.
I'm sorry.
Well, other than the salt.
Yes.
I do have all the salt, I've got them. Okay, we talked about getting salt. The county did allow us to have about 16 ton from them at a total cost of $1,596.28. Now, that was the only salt we were gonna have, period, he couldn't get a hold of. So I did have Billy call around, and we got hold of this guy that takes care of all the state out of Cleveland. And he allowed us to have 22 ton. That was at a total cost of $147 a ton, including shipping. So that comes to $3,389.64. Both of them together is $4,985.92 for salt. And we most likely won't be getting it anymore. That'll give us about 50 ton for the year. By what I'm being told, that's it.
So I need,
lose last year.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What do we use last year?
We normally use close to 70 tons.
Yeah, we normally try to budget around 70 tons this year.
That's what we did.
Some winters we don't, some winters we go a little bit over, but.
Last year was kind of harsh, so I just.
And the year before that wasn't so bad, but we never know. So
We have-
normally the county asked us like in May to make a forecast of what we're going to use, and then they set the price accordingly. This year they did not ask us, because they didn't know whether they were going to have it or not.
And as a matter of fact, the day of the snow, they didn't let us know until 11 o'clock in the afternoon. And we could go get some, and they didn't have much themselves. So they allowed us to have 16 ton. But the price is, going up, and I don't think we got much choice. We didn't have much choice. That's why I told Billy to go ahead and do this, because it was either that or none. So we had enough in the bin to do one time. That's it. That's what it is, told to put together.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
That's what it is together.
I would need a motion to accept the pay for salt of $4,985.92.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Is there any reason why we can't get the salt earlier in the summer? Or-
They weren't giving it out, period. We called, and they just said no. There isn't any.
After the harsh winter last year, everybody run short, state, everybody. The salt we got come directly out of the mine. They loaded it in Cleveland, brought it to us on a truck, right out of the mine, so.
And he said, well, since we're a new customer, he would allow us this, but doubtful that we get any more.
Now, that's not to say we can't use grindings eventually, if we have to use grindings, but the grindings is a lot harder on the sewer and everything when we do it here in town, so.
That can be flushed out.
I can't answer that completely, Mary Jane, but I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
It's still hard on the system and everything else.
I know
Maybe
it's hard
Kevin
on the
could
system,
elaborate.
but you
I
do.
read that on better than I can, but I don't know what's all involved in that when it gets into the system, so.
It's not good. Like I said, I don't like it any more than anybody else, because they're holding a gun to your head, but you don't have a choice. You're either going to have salt or none. It is what it is.
We had a lot of people complaining with that first snow we had.
Oh, I know, but it only lasted 2 hours,
Yeah.
then it was gone. Come on. Learn how to drive.
Okay, lights?
Oh, let me do.
I'm sorry.
Go back.
Need to roll
Yes.
call.
Oh, I didn't, I'm sorry. You didn't call us. I apologize.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes. Do you want me to sign this, or you want Rick to sign these?
Either one, that approved. Okay.
Go ahead.
Lights?
Don't have anything unless someone knows if anything's out.
Okay, I have something on the lights. I met last week with Bob Stallman from DPL Energy. And he was not able to give us figures. He hoped to have it to us by the middle of this month. I told him the meeting was the first Monday. He hopes to have it to us by the middle of the month. The rate is going to be offered to the village. I think right now we're at 6.63, 6.65, somewhere in that neighborhood. He feels like for the village, that when they come back to offer us the rate for the village for the the citizens that want to participate in the program, it's probably going to be a lower rate than what it is now. The flip side of that is we are not going to have our bundled package on the streetlights. So we are going to end up budgeting streetlights again. Now, the bundle was actually figured into the cost of what everybody was paying last time, so it was not free. But that package is not going to be offered again. Just to let you know that sometime this month, we're going to get the numbers, and he's checking with Miami Valley Lighting, which is actually owns the streetlights, as what the number is going to be for us. Just to give you the information on what's taking place.
And I believe the reason for that you can't include the streetlights now because of laws that are changing, rules and regulations, is that not? So is that what he said?
Well, there's several, no, he didn't actually say that, no. What's taking place is the state is mandating, basically it boils down to this. In 3 years' time, the state is mandating to people like DP&L and everything how much margin they can actually make above the grid. This year was at 90%, next year goes to 40%, and by the third year it's down to like 10%. So they're shrinking their ability to make money. So those savings are no longer going to be able to be passed on to anybody. So it is going to be what it is going to be. So they're shrinking. They're making it be held accountable for whatever profit. They're telling what their profits can, margins can be.
And in turn, that is supposedly getting passed on to our citizens on the,
Well,
obviously.
it keeps them from being able to offer the packages that was offered to us in the past.
Because businesses probably couldn't get anything, any deals or anything.
It's just causing everybody to not offer packages they offered in the past because the profit margins are being controlled.
Is this the end of the 3-year package that we had before?
Yes.
Our package is coming to the end in March. So they're just trying to give us some projections.
Heads up on it.
So if, council has time to consider DP&L Energy's numbers, or whether council chooses to decide, to have other people come in and give them numbers.
Just like the residential does.
Yes. What I'm stating to council is, be aware of the fact that we are now going to have to budget pricing for the streetlights, which for the last 3 years has been included in the bundle that we received from them, which no longer will be that offer at the end of our contract in March. So, just giving you a heads up where we stand on that.
I have a question about A-Light.
Okay.
I wonder if we can get the utility light on the north end of the school lot where the bus barn's at, if we get that turned back on. I know that would be a fee.
Yeah, I don't know why we can't. I mean, that's just a street light fee to us. Now, that power comes out on the side of that elementary, right, chief, to that pole, where they pull the meter out?
I would think so.
And that controls the bus barn too.
Right, I think that's all coming off there. I'm not, is that light, Bill's that light up by the building?
Yeah, right there on the horn.
Yeah, whole bunch
I would
of
say
it.
that probably comes off that meter where they pull the meter out of that elementary. Because there is some power still in an elementary building, we just never trace it down because there's a light in there, there's a light on inside the building all the time. But we just don't know where all the power comes from inside the building. I don't know why we couldn't.
Yeah, I do notice that light does help. I mean, it shines on the bus barn also, but there's a little bit of light in the lot, which
Yeah, I think,
helps.
I don't see an issue with that.
That just be having to put the meter back in with it. basically.
Well, you don't know what else you're feeding off that
Well,
meter.
I know,
But I mean, I think we're going to have to,
but that's what feeds the bus barn right now.
yeah, we
for
can,
lights
the
and
chief
stuff.
can take a look at it and see what we're feeding off of that, but it should be a matter of, we can cut it down to, I would assume that we could probably narrow it down to just where it's a street light.
just the utility.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll look into that.
Actually, until we get some of these numbers that we're looking for here, there's not a whole lot we can, we're going to scramble here to get budgeting done.
Right. Sanitation, Mary Jane?
I just need to send out some more letters. There's several nasty places around New Paris, trash-wise. And Susan's not here again tonight. I was going to talk or ask her again some questions about the grant that she gave me with the EPA to get Shanks Ditch and Rocky Ford cleaned out. It says here it's due July the 25th. We have plenty of time, I guess. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'd like for you to start thinking about it. I'll try to get some copies made and put in everybody's mailbox about it. But it needs cleaned out really bad. I don't know how it's going to happen yet.
I would just suggest giving her a call, see where we're standing on that.
Just certain areas are bad, aren't they, Mary Jane?
Rocky Fork's pretty bad, and I plan on writing a new ordinance. Always before, it was the county that cleans. There's always been an argument over that Shanks Ditch and Rocky Fork. Shanks Ditch especially. Supposedly, the property owners are supposed to keep it cleaned out, but it was the county at one time. I don't know.
No, it's back to the property owners.
So,
It is
but
back to the property
I
owners.
do need to write a new ordinance on that because the way it states now, it doesn't say anything about the property owner, only if someone's caught throwing debris in the creek, they can be fined or whatever. So I need to, I'm going to be working on that all winter, but if we can get a grant, and we would probably have to pass some of the cost on to the property owners. I don't know that.
See, that's what we ran into before. We
I
were
know,
gonna have
it's been a mess.
When we were going to have the, what am I trying to say?
Well,
Do the ditch down here, that's what they were going to do too. Just pass that cost on to the property.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Why would you want to pass?
Well, they have cleaned it out many years ago.
Back when we had the flood, the county come in and did all that ditch, and they said, well, it's our responsibility. Now it's like
Yeah.
the bridges and everything else, they throw it back on us, so, that's.
What if you got a property owner that's on that Shanks Ditch that their property's clean, you're gonna pass
I
it
don't
on
know
to them?
that, I don't know that yet.
Because I happen to be one of
I
those
know you are,
residents,
and you keep yours
and mine's
cleaned
clean.
out, yeah.
And I, you know,
I-
there's a lot
I
of
don't-
people on that that
I
still
don't-
have a clean ditch, and
Yeah.
some that do and some that don't.
Yeah,
You know, and to penalize the whole village for some few
well, I
residents.
don't know. I don't know
I don't
yet.
agree with that.
That's
Well,
why it used to be just on the
I
property.
don't know.
That's the problem with. That's what we need to look at and maybe change back into our policy again, like it used to be, so that we make people clean it up and take care of it.
Yeah, I think the individual resident ought to have to.
It wasn't always that way.
That's all I have.
Okay. Planning, I know nothing. BPA, Kevin? Okay. We have a first reading of ordinance number 2014-04. An ordinance to increase the rent and/or charges for providing water and sewer services to the residents and customers of the village of New Paris, Preble County, Ohio. And we're not going to put it in there, so we're going to go through reading on this. Scratch it out there.
I'm on with them like that.
Whereas in accordance with the bylaws, rules, and regulations set forth by the council and the Board of Public Affairs of the Village of New Paris, the Board of Public Affairs has recommended to the New Paris Village Council an increase in the rate for rent and/or charges to provide water and sewer services to the customers of New Paris water system and wastewater system. Whereas the council has determined at the Board of Public Affairs recommendation that in order to provide a safe, efficient supply of water and maintain the sewer to the residents of the Village of New Paris, a rate increase is necessary to maintain the supply and distribution of the village water supply. Now be it therefore ordained by the Council of the Village of New Paris, Preble County, Ohio, Section 1, in accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Public Affairs, the Village Council hereby consents to increase the current water rent or charges from current rate of $19.50 for a minimum amount of 2,000 gallon with an additional charge of 7.25 per 1,000 gallon over the minimum amount of 2,000 gallon to the new rate of $22.50. For a minimum of the amount of 2,000 gallon with additional 7.25 per 1,000 gallon over the minimum amount of 2,000 gallon. Section 2. In accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Public Affairs, the Village Council hereby consents to increase the current wastewater rent and/or charges from the current rate of $7 for the minimum amount of 2,000 gallon with an additional charge of $5 per 1,000 gallon over the minimum amount of 2,000 gallons to the new rate of $12 for a minimum amount of 2,000 gallon with an additional $5 per 1,000 gallon over the minimum amount of 2,000 gallons. Section 3, this ordinance shall be
There she is.
it can't be read. It's
Right,
not
because it's not.
It's not. It's doing it through reading diligence. Yep. So that's the first reading of the water increase that was voted on last month.
Might I ask, is it possible for us to put the second reading on at our special meeting that we have to hold in December?
Yes.
Or not?
Do that.
Yes. We can do that. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Morgana, you have something to bring to us tonight. This is Morgana from our insurance company. If you want to present to us what you have, please.
Sure. Can I just come up here? Okay.
Absolutely.
How is everybody?
How are you?
Good. It's been a while.
Yes.
So I kind of, United Healthcare has not been amazing about communicating their changes for 2015 to brokers, which has been a little frustrating, but we're doing, the best that we can with the information that we've been given. So basically what's happening is, as of January 1st, which is when we changed the renewal date to for you guys to align with your fiscal year, they are going to no longer offer an HRA integrated plan. So the other carriers are following suit. Anthem is doing the same thing. Medical Mutual is doing the same thing. So for groups under 50, they're really limiting our choices for plans. So we have a couple different options. What we had kind of touched on last year was maybe moving to an HSA instead of an HRA. Biggest difference there is right now you guys have the health reimbursement account, so you're taking claims that are already processed and you're basically paying those as they are incurred. On a health savings account, you can actually fund those dollars on the front side. Employees can use those dollars, and it's basically like first dollar coverage. It's not a use it or lose it. So basically the money that you're contributing towards an HSA is the employee's money, and it goes into a savings account, kind of like a pre-retirement account. They can't touch it until they're 62. So I brought some information about health savings accounts because I think that that might be our best option if you wanted to keep some kind of arrangement where you're contributing to the employee's health insurance. A couple of the differences with that is health savings accounts typically have higher deductibles. So right now, we're at a $2,000 deductible with 80% co-insurance. Typically with the health savings account, they will range from, and they do go down to $1,500, but the premiums are going to be higher. So I looked at some plans today that have maybe a $3,000 deductible, but 100% co-insurance, and that would actually lower the premium from what you're currently paying monthly. And then if you were to contribute the same or even much less than you're contributing right now to the HRA, it would be an overall premium savings. So really, or we could stay with a plan that UHC is mapping everybody to a new set of plans. So they've chosen a plan that is very similar to the current with a $2,000 deductible, 80% co-insurance. It's just on a new platform. It's basically the same plan. They're just making things as confusing as possible for us. So it's called 6WW instead of your VH2 plan that you have. So we could go to that plan and then use a third-party administrator and build an HRA to your specifications. So we could have the exact same plan design. I think it's $750 for employee only and $1,500 for family. We could have a third-party administrator like Charles Snyder administer the HRA, but they do charge a fee for that. So when I was looking over the proposals that we had gotten last year when we had kind of been discovering this, it would actually raise your overall annual cost about 20% from current, so we don't know that that's going to be the best idea. But it's an option, it's just, it's not the cheapest option. So, but that would be the way to maintain an HRA arrangement.
If we go to the higher deductible, which is what you have to do if you want to use the health savings.
If you want to lower the premiums and do a health savings account, there are a couple plans that have like a $1,500 deductible, but the premium is going to be much higher. So it's not ideal. It's, I know that last year, we had some changes going from Anthem UHC to kind of save on some premiums. And then this year, they're springing it on us with the, no more HRAs, and Anthem is doing the same thing. I was hoping maybe if they were going to do something like this, they would have given us, like a 6-month heads up on it, but they didn't.
Is this the Obamacare stuff? Is this the increase that we're getting, seeing through that?
It's not necessarily due to Obamacare, but the carriers are reacting towards all the new legislation that they're facing, and they're really just trying to make things as cookie cutter as possible. I was talking to my account rep over at United Healthcare today, and he was saying that just not enough people were offering the HRA. So it's just one of those plans that they had to drop. All the carriers, they have such an array of plans, and I think they're getting hammered on the legislation due to ACA, so they're trying to simplify everything as possibly as they can. So it's the same, my significant other works in home building. They have, a certain set of homes that they'll offer, and even if they don't sell, they just stop offering them forever. Even if you have clients who love those homes. So it's the same kind of deal. It's just unfortunate on the small group side, HRAs are not popular. But HSAs are actually they're more tax friendly for employees. You can contribute as an employer and you can contribute as an employee. And it's not a use it or lose it type deal. So most employees actually find those to be more beneficial
And
than
the health
HRA.
savings account is separate from the insurance coverage, or it's all the same thing?
It's all folded into one. So you have your own savings account, and you can set it up through United Healthcare or through a bank that the employer wants, or through your own bank account. I have one that is set up, it's all rolled into my medical plan, so it's a bank that my group prefers. But basically, it's an account that the employee owns forever. So the health savings account is really the plan design that allows those contributions to be made. and then the employee can contribute to that, the employer can contribute to that, and the funds just stay in there and accumulate, and then they can be used for medical expenses, as long as they're eligible. But you
My
can't use it for
question is, and
another-
I'm just confused.
Sure.
You still then, above and beyond health savings, you still have insurance premiums and insurance policy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because a lot of them, you can get just, if I'm not mistaken, you can go straight to health savings and you have to have money in that account for any kind of medical
Oh,
expense. If there's an account that's,
if you want to use your health savings account, you can contribute, but you by no means have to, you're not required to contribute to a health savings account. Basically, the biggest difference is it's going to require you to hit that deductible before your insurance comes into play. So if you have a $3,000 deductible, you're going to have to hit that before you start moving to co-pays and co-insurance. Right now, you can go to the doctor tomorrow and have a $30 co-pay. So that's the biggest difference. And that's why with an HSA, it's nice to be able to, as an employer, you can contribute, let's say, $750. You can contribute that the first day of the plan, so that money is there for the employees to use.
to help meet their deductible.
I'm sorry.
To help meet their
Yeah.
deductible.
And that what we just
All right,
had, we
I
got
just
rid
want to make
of?
sure I understand.
Isn't that what we just got rid of? In our plans, in our old plan? Where we
No,
put in
you
so
still
much,
got one.
And they people to meet the cost of their deductible. Isn't that what we was doing anyway?
Yeah, I think on the
Yeah.
HRA that you guys had before, it was still first dollar coverage, but it was
Yeah.
basically you're building that shelf to help them meet the deductible.
So now we'll be doing the same thing as we was before, it's still be the same way, more or
It's-
less.
It's basically the same.
Yeah.
The thing that you're doing right now with the HRA is you're having to, well, UHC is administering it, but they're submitting those claims and then they're billing the employee and billing the provider, and it's a lot more administrative work. I feel like an HSA is just simpler on all sides, especially because the money doesn't have to be, you don't have to submit claims to get it reimbursed. So it's really just your funds.
So basically, under the HSA, the deductible would move from 15 a family to 3,000?
If we wanted to save on premiums. So I found a plan that had a $3,000 deductible and it had, it was an 8% decrease from your current, just on premiums. And that one had a $3,000 single deductible, a $6,000 family deductible. So right now you have a $2,000 single deductible, $4,000 family.
And you've got the numbers for us on what it would cost to stay with what we have now, and also what it would cost to go to the 3,000, 6,000. Okay. So we
Yeah.
have a little time to.
So I
discuss
wanted
that.
to gauge, I kind of just downloaded everything on my iPad so I can have everything, because I have a bunch of, the quotes are like 100 pages long. But if you like that kind of plan, because I know last year we were kind of hesitant about moving the deductible up. So I wasn't sure if that would be something that we would even want to do. But that would be that 8% savings, that I can get the exact numbers. Or they do have plans that have a $1,500 single deductible and a $3,000 family deductible, but that's going to be more expensive than your current. So I don't know if that would be worth the change.
We'd like to just see the numbers,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would be interested in knowing.
in all those numbers, yes.
I want to know what the 8% savings does to us in money. I would like to know that number. Because unless I'm misunderstanding this, we're going to need to fund their deductible again. So we need to know what that 8% generates for us.
Well, I don't think we're funding the entire deductible even right now,
No,
but some of, a half of it, I think, is what we maybe.
You're getting
gonna be 3 and 6, right?
It will if we want a lower premium overall, yes, then that's where the
Yeah, but
8%
if
is.
we don't, then the premium goes up, but we stay at the 750, 1,500, right? With no 8%.
What we have is 2,000 right now.
You have 2,000 right now. So the plan that they're trying to map you to has a very small increase, I think it's like 1%. But that is not an HSA and it's not an HRA, so technically you're not supposed to be contributing to it. But then your premiums aren't changing. So we're in a little bit, they put us in a little bit of a pickle with not offering HRAs anymore. So we're stuck with either choosing a plan design where you cannot contribute to the employees as their deductible, or we can switch to an HSA where you can contribute. It's just, there's no other carrier that we could move to even to offer an HRA anymore. So they're all changing from that. But I can pull up the numbers for these, so we have those.
So I'll second nature to you, it's confusing to us.
Yeah. I know, it is,
Dollar is gonna cost us more money.
Well, yes. I understand that part. I'm still working on the deductible here for the employees, or what I'm still trying to handle here.
is there a,
I mean, if we're gonna raise them from 2 to
That's why.
3 and 6, to save an 8%, what does that 8% give you money?
That's why she needs to go back to office and get some
And
figures.
so, how much of that difference to them, that the 8% do we pay to make up for that without raising the deductible employees? Or am I missing the gist?
No, you got it. You're in the ballpark. We need to wait and get her, give us some figures, and then we can talk about it and go from there. You're not gonna do it tonight.
because I thought this would be able to pull up, but it's not pulling up. So I have the whole proposal in the Stern machine.
You're in the hole.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get it here.
But yeah, I think with the, going to a 3,000, 6,000 might be our best bet to save on premiums. Or we could go to, and I'm trying to look at plans that have an embedded deductible. So I know that was something, I think we only have 2 folks that have more than just one person enrolled. Where they have a spouse, and I think someone else has a spouse and a child. So basically on an embedded deductible, that means that they only have to hit the individual deductible in order for that person's insurance to kick in. So if we were to move to a plan that had a non-embedded deductible, then the entire family deductible has to be hit. So that is a completely different ballgame. So I'm trying to stay with plans that are embedded. So we would be looking at the lowest deductible we could go to would be a $2,600 deductible, $5,200 per family with 100% co-insurance. And that would be, that plan and the $3,000 plan would both be slightly lower in premiums.
Slightly being what?
Well, between probably 5 and 8%. So definitely 8% for that $3,000 plan. Probably about 5% for the $2,600 plan. So it's not anything astronomical.
So our premium now is how much, and take 8% of it real quick, to just give us a ballpark?
Your premium right now is, I think it was 10,000, I'm sorry. It was 10,640, or that might be too high, because I know we had some changes too.
I think that if we aren't going into an executive session, Jada they can go to her office and maybe transfer those figures. so that they can be
Yeah.
accredited.
Yes, let's do that.
And because right now, we're all just
Yeah,
guessing.
because we're all here going, okay, but we need numbers to react.
Yeah, okay. So we open out that proposal, okay.
Okay, thanks. I think, thanks. We'll get back with that in a moment.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to, I need a motion to go into executive session for employee, please.
Motion made.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
And gentlemen, what we will do is call each of you in one at a time for council to talk to you. So. I need a motion to come out of executive session, please. Motion made.
Yeah, or second, I don't care.
Let's make it clear.
I made a motion.
I'll second it.
Is this mine?
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane? Yeah. Kathy?
Yes.
Bill? Ralph?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Morgana, the floor is yours. Sorry about the late hour.
No worries. Okay, so we have been brainstorming about different things that we can do. Basically, what I did, just to give you guys some specifics, was we took on the top left, and I apologize for the sloppiness, BH2 is your current plan. We're making some open enrollment changes that are intended for January 1st. So what we're looking at is around $36.58 for the current premium. The renewal that they're proposing is the 6WW, and that'll be around $41.95. And actually, I went back and took out, I think actually I have not taken out Killen from that total, so it'll actually be $38.01. So it's lower.
Well, for the time being, we're going to be replacing that, so we
Yeah,
just
right.
leave the number in there
Yep.
for the time
Okay.
being. But we're going to replace that position with somebody, we don't know how that's going to fly.
Yeah, and it's all based on age, so it's very
Right.
hard to guesstimate.
Right.
So what I did was I took those embedded plans that I was mentioning earlier. Non-embedded is not great for families on an HSA. So I chose the 4 available embedded HSAs, and we looked at what the premiums would be with the open enrollment changes, but knowing that you have a couple extra employees, one might be adding a family on there. So these numbers are just estimates. The 70J would have a $3,000 deductible for single, $6,000 for family. So it's going to be competitive with what we have right now, which is the 2 and 4. The nice thing is it has 100% co-insurance instead of 80%. So basically, once you hit that deductible, everything's going to be covered in full besides co-pays. Co-pays can go on until you reach your maximum out of pocket. That's my favorite, I think, for you guys if we were to move to an HSA. It's got about an 8% increase. Otherwise, that second plan, that 6B7, that jumps up the deductible quite a bit to $5,200 for individual and $10,400 for family, which I think is just pretty steep from our prior conversations. That one only drops at about 4.5%. So I don't know if that would be worth it or great for your employees. The next one is that 70H that's got a $2,600 and $5,200 family deductible. I don't know if that $5,200 family deductible is going to be too high. And that gives you like a 20% increase over current, so it's not a great option. Then the embedded 700 has a $2,600 deductible with a $7,500 family deductible. So the families, we have about 3, I think, that are going to be families, 3 or 4, depending on changes in open enrollment. So those would be hit the hardest if we were to go to a plan like that 700, because that family deductible is so much higher than the individual. So basically on an embedded deductible, one person can hit that $2,600 deductible and their benefits will come into play. And then once any one person hits that $7,500 deductible or any combination family members hit that $7,500 deductible, then the entire family gets benefits.
So the total is the 7,500. Does the 26 count towards the 75?
It does. So if you have a family, that one might not be too bad, but if you're talking about two singles, or maybe a husband and wife, for $7,500, that might be a little bit steep. And that one's also an 8%. So that first plan, that 70J, if we were to go to an HSA, I think would probably be the best fit, just based on what you currently have, and then your group makeup. But what we were also talking about is you can contribute basically any amount you'd like to an HSA. We were thinking about, right now you're contributing 85% of your premiums, or of the premium amount for your employees, the employees are paying 15%. We could change a couple things with that, so you can contribute a little bit less instead of doing the $750 and $1,500 for the HRA. You can contribute maybe $500 and $1,000 into an HSA, and then change your percentage contribution. So we were kind of playing around with some ideas on maybe increasing the employer contribution and maybe changing the plan so it's a little bit less of a shock for the employees. Because I know that we had to raise the deductible last year to save on premiums. So maybe if we weren't going to raise it again. And when we have another option of maybe not going into an HSA and choosing a traditional plan instead. So basically the traditional plan works just exactly as your HRA does, except there's no contribution from you guys, but we could lower the deductible. So instead of moving it up to a $3,000 deductible or a $2,600 deductible and doing an HSA, we could offer a $1,000 deductible with 80% coinsurance, same as now, $30 office visit copays, and the premium would go up, but you wouldn't have to make any contributions.
And how much would the premium go up?
It would be $48.14 a month.
$700. Not even
And
$700.
that's actually with our newbie, the new employee, assuming that he had his family enrolled.
All right,
so
so it's less than 700.
Yeah.
What did you say it was? 48 what?
$48.14.
48.14.
Without the new employee, as we were guesstimating, it would be around $4,000.
So traditional would be $1,000 deductible. Is that individual or
Individual.
family?
Individual, $2,000 for family.
2,000 family. And the copay is the same?
The co-insurance is the same at 80%. The office visit copay is $30.
So it's still 80/20 and $30 office. What do we have now? Do we have an office coverage now for $30 or 20?
I feel like it's $25 or $30.
Basically the same, right? So nothing changes there.
What would you be saving without the contribution?
Well, so right now it depends, you're contributing, well, you're putting aside $750 for employee, $1,500 for family. I think, what did you say that the contributions net are, or it's like 3,600?
7,500 total is what we put in, and right now, what we've used so far
Yeah.
was like 3,400.
Okay, yeah. So 3,400 is, those are the things that you've actually had to pay out, but
But
7,500 is.
we're contributing 7,500 now.
Yes.
But as of right now, there's like 4,000 left before we're getting there.
I got that.
But you wouldn't have to contribute that with that plan?
You couldn't if you use that, right? Because you don't, they
Yeah,
don't have the
that's going to be a
HRA.
They do
traditional
have the
plan,
HRA.
Or
so-
health
Okay.
savings account.
There's no HSA, there's no
this traditional against the 6WW, you say is going to be, the total premium is only going to be $700 more a month, roughly. That's not individual, that's the plan, right? So that's $8,500 a year, and we're already contributing $7,500 a year. So we're within $1,000, right? So for $1,000 more than what we're contributing now, why would we not want to do that traditionally and keep their deductible lower versus raising their deductible to $3,000 and $6,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you.
So, well, basically, the reason why I wanted to present both options was because last year we were very adamant about retaining those employer contributions.
Fine.
So,
this is, the employee doesn't contribute anything to this, right? Is that-
no. Well, you're not contributing towards the deductible, but you
No.
can contribute towards the premium at 100%, and that would be your final cost, or you could keep your 85% employer contribution towards the premium.
Or we could do 90, or we could.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we could.
You could do 100, and I mean, it would take some of the, like what Jim was saying, it's kind of, just switching where the employee is getting the money or how they're getting it. So, I mean, you could contribute 100%.
It's not set aside in HRA anymore, it's in the premiums. I mean, you can still have the employee pay 10% of the premiums, it's still kind of a win-win for both.
Yes.
Exactly. My thought is this.
I agree with that.
For the same money,
Right.
we're going to bump the employees from 15 to 6, from 1,500 to, from,
2,000.
no,
3,000.
wait a minute, from 2 and 4. Wait a minute.
From 2 and 4 to 3 and 6.
To 3 and 6, so we're taking them up $2,000. So that's going to piss them off.
Right.
I'll take it. Sorry.
Noted.
Habits, right? It's getting a long night. So I'm trying to justify this. And we're at 85% contribution now, right? And they're at 15. I want to say this. If we keep the contribution the same as it is now, which we can do under traditional, correct?
Sure.
Okay, then it's going to cost us $1,000, or it's going to cost us $1,000 more a year than what it's cost us right now. And,
A month.
no, not a month. She said it's $700 a month increase for the 6WW. 700 times 10 is 7,000, another 2 months is $8,500. We're currently setting back $7,500 already, correct?
Yes.
So we're already out $7,500. If we go to the traditional plan for another $1,000, we're keeping their deductible down to a $2,000
Manageable
family
amount,
and
yes.
$1,000 individual versus hitting them with a $3,000 and a $6,000. Am I making sense? Am I understanding this correctly?
Yeah. So
That's
you're
it.
taking away the contributions to the HRA, but you're improving their benefits.
And lowering their deductible,
Which makes sense to me.
which they're still contributing to the plan. It's still an 80-20 plan, and we're going to keep everybody happy for $1,000.
Right.
Right. That's the way I.
And you don't think that's a good idea?
I do think that's a good idea.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a better idea, let us keep everybody happy. This one over here is a bit of a dagger. I'm not even looking at her, I can feel that one. So.
Hey, now, this was my idea to bring this up. So,
Well, kudos.
I'm just trying to keep Dana happy.
Does that make sense what I just said?
Yes.
Yep. I'd say that's the way we want to go.
I don't like the idea of jumping them up to
No.
$6,000.
Go.
I don't like that ideal. And if we leave the contribution, they're already paying the 15%, we leave the contribution there, which helps fund the set, and we're gonna pick up the other 1,000 to keep everybody happy. At the same time, we ought to be more happy because we're lowering their deductible, lower than what it was, and it's still 80/20, they still, the office car's the same, I'm assuming the prescription's basically close to the same. I think that's a no-brainer on my part, council, it's up to you.
I agree with you. That's the way we need to go. Just right there.
I mean, there's no glitches in this now. You're not gonna come back to us tomorrow and say, oh, I made a mistake.
No. But this
Because if you do,
premium,
you're gonna have to drive all the way back to Florida.
this premium is not gonna be set in stone though, because we are gonna have open enrollment changes.
We understand the premium,
So,
but what the numbers
percentage-wise, it should stay the same.
The numbers are going to.
the numbers we're looking at right now is somewhere around $1,000 difference. The employees are, it's cost us an extra $1,000, but we're lowering the premiums, keep the employees happy.
Yeah.
Keep that in, right.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
I was thinking-
Yeah, now's the time.
I was just thinking that, now, 7,500 that you normally put in the deductible, you're gonna apply that towards the premium.
Yeah, we're out to 7,500 already.
Right. And the increase.
It's a wash.
The increase in the premium was 8,500.
No,
So now you're gonna put
Yes.
75 towards that.
75 towards the 85 is $1,000 difference, is what I'm saying. We're now currently putting back $7,500, and we're charging, and they have a deductible of $2,000 and $4,000. And so if she's saying is what is all true here, $700 more on the month, on it, instead of $41.95, it's going to be $48.14. And a wash, apples to apples, at the end of the year, we owe $1,000 more in premium than what we're paying now.
So what's the difference, the 15% that they pay? What's it gonna be on that premium?
Well, of course, that depends on what their premium, what's their premium versus what somebody with a family's premium is and so forth. And we don't have that breakdown right here.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot less than $6,000
I think it
deductible
is.
for family.
I think you're right.
Well, we actually do have them because it's by age.
Mhm.
Is their set rates
So
by
we're pretty
age.
close here on these numbers.
The numbers that she emailed, that
Right
was on
there.
that email, that's would be our rates. I didn't give everybody copies, but
And that's on, this is gonna be on the 6WW plan, so on the 6W7, which is the plan that we like.
6W7 is the traditional.
And that's that $1,000 plan. So driver would be $393.26.
Okay, that's 20 a month. That's 250 more a year on Chris.
Is it Eversley?
Yes.
Okay, $1278.89.
So that's $70 more, 700, that's 850 more on Brian.
Garland is $1884.66.
Another $80, the same, 850 more.
Bird is $628.
That's only $30, which is roughly 500.
Gina's gonna be $351.82.
How come you only went up $20?
Come on, come on.
I knew, see, I can't save it.
And then the other, so we may have,
Somebody's gonna replace Killen, so we just go with his numbers and just give you the increase that he would be if he was still here.
you would have been $418.47.
Oh, he might have nudged you out.
Because he's old.
so, and then the officer for Chris.
So, that's the 26-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 26-year-old, assuming that his wife is the same age and they have the one child, would be 290, I'm sorry, I didn't add it all up. So what they do is they take each individual in the family and they give them their own rate. So he's 296
6W7.
And typically you would have had $1,500 for his contribution.
But that's still, that number still figured into this 4195. Is that not correct though, or not correct? These increases are not figured in this 4195?
These are,
These are?
yeah.
Okay,
So these
the
are
other
your
numbers
current-
are not.
Yeah.
And you say the last person was 77?
777.54.
Those changes. So now is that going to, that's going to make the premium instead of 48, is going to make it 52 a month?
I have 48.
We had 4814 before we just did the increases. We just increased it $4,100 a year.
No, I'm sorry, 4814 was the cost of the 6W7. I did all this, I'm sorry, when we were outside.
You've already figured this in. Gotcha. But you figured it on this number, and then the number you were just quoting us was the 6W7.
It was, yeah.
So it's not figured.
I must be misunderstanding. So
You
the
figured,
numbers
outside, you figured the 4814 on these numbers, correct?
on the 6W7, which is our.
Oh, so you've
48.4.
already figured that numbers into it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Why was I writing them down? I asked that question to
I know
start
you
with.
like numbers, sir.
I asked that question to start with. Had that included in the raises, because we go with the individual. This was based on the this was based on the,
This is VH2
The
and
6WW.
But
you figured that 4814 on the 6W7.
yes. My apologies.
Okay, sorry, I'm a little slow. All righty.
So we like it? 85% contribution still for the employer for one of the deductibles?
Kevin?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So you're basically, the employees' contribution is going to basically stay the same.
Could fluctuate a little bit because the rates went up, but that has been figured.
Still gonna be close.
It's going to be
It's going to be
close,
close, ain't going to be astronomical.
but they're going to have a lower deductible.
Yeah, they're going to have to meet
As
$2,000
long
instead of $4,000.
long
Or
as
if we went the other plan, $6,000 or $3,000.
As long as we continue to contribute that 7,500.
Exactly, which we are now currently doing.
Now, if there's money left in that account at the end of the year, can we pull that out?
No, so that's
It
where,
has to be used?
basically, instead of having that money available to use for claims, you're using it towards the premiums. So there's no extra money that's put aside or available.
Okay, but it can be used towards the premium.
Yeah, just everything's going to be used towards the premium. It's just from a budget perspective.
We don't lose anything.
And then we'll just have, once your extra guy comes on the interview tonight, that just based on his age, then we'll have an extra number. And
We decided we'll make changes, we'll tell her.
All right, council, any further discussion? If council chooses to go to the 6W7, we're going to need that in the form of a motion.
I make that motion.
Do
I'll
we need the
second it.
total premium?
I'm sorry?
Do we need the total premium for that?
Well, we could throw the 4814 in there. That's what she's saying it's going to be. Well, yes.
it'll be 48.14 and 17 cents.
$48,014.17.
And that's assuming the age of the spouse of your new officer.
Got
So
it.
that could be slightly different.
Could vary a little bit one or the other.
Yeah.
So actually accepting the 6W7 in the form of a motion at the rate of $48,014.17. Is that the motion?
4,800.
Yeah, 4,000.
Yeah.
About 48,000,
Right.
4,814.
I said thousands.
Yes.
Maybe a little
Find that many zeros on my bill.
What's going on?
I'm a writing on it, wait a minute.
She took me a while to Yes, that's in the form of a motion. I'll second that motion.
Let me clarify, it's $57,778 a year.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Neil,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Bill, Kathy, Mary Jane.
Yes.
Organic, thank you for coming out this evening. Please have a safe trip back.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me intrude on your meeting last minute.
I'm glad you did.
Me too. I forgot my dad in your office.
Okay, we'll get that. And just email me all that.
Oh, yeah, it's a very easy little formal. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night. Have a safe trip.
Okay, old business, I think we clarified most of that. Under new business, council has made a decision for replacement of street department. The decision was Eddie Van Zant. I would need that in a form of a motion, please, to accept.
I move that we accept Eddie Van Zandt as the street
I'll second.
personnel.
Roll call, please.
Neil,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Kathy, and Mary Jane.
Yes.
Nothing from me. Anybody else have anything to bring to the table this evening before we adjourn? Other than the fact we need to set a date for the meeting. Thank you, Kathy, I read your mind. You read that, I read your mind, you was getting ready to say that. Okay. Do you want to do it, do you want to make it a long day? Do you want to have BPA and council get it over with next Monday?
Yeah.
I'm asking James.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right, let's set the next meeting will be, special meeting will be, the agenda will be, radio communication decision. What was the other thing?
Second reading.
Second reading.
Second reading of the water rates. And executive session of personnel. For December 8th at,
I'll finish.
what time are you guys usually done, Kevin?
What's the next meeting?
It's,
It'll be done by 5:30.
It'll be short.
What is the earliest everyone can make the next Monday's meeting? How early can you be here next Monday's meeting?
Anytime.
6 o'clock.
Can I leave early?
Yes.
That's fire department meeting night too.
Yeah.
Oh, always.
That's right. You got a meeting at 7 o'clock. 7:30.
We will try and be done. Nothing else. The next meeting will be December 8th at 6 o'clock. Need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All